What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Speed Sim. I'm E-House.
And I'm Amy.
And this is a video we really shouldn't have to make. I feel like...
It's still worth mentioning, though.
It's worth making because there are still people, and unfortunately people who even play a lot who don't get some of these things. But it's stuff that should be common sense, but I guess isn't. I mean, perfect example. We just had someone semi-local to us, not anyone we knew, but a couple of teenagers old enough to know better. They actually just got busted for robbing someone with an airsoft gun.
Oh.
Yeah, so today we're talking about being a responsible airsoft gun owner because actually, yeah, there is some thought that goes into that.
Yeah. Well, first off, I would like to mention you have to be 18 years or older to buy an airsoft gun, and if your parents buy it for you, they should be the one taking responsibility for your airsoft gun. So purchasing it, holding on to it till you get to a game, and then giving it to you. That's rule number one. If you're not of age, have your parents buy it and have them do all your responsible owner stuff, because at a young age you think things are cool now, or you think it's funny, and then later on you either get busted by the police or you get shot. And that's just that's what happens when you start brandishing your airsoft guns around or robbing somebody. Yeah. You're gonna get shot. So be responsible. Another great thing is have a gun bag. Now, most fields will allow you to have a gun box, like what it came in the original box, or if you get one of those e-bike gun sacks, I think they're called, the blue things you can stick the gun into. Yeah. You can get that, but I would highly suggest getting a gun bag. Not only is it convenient, but it's a good idea, because your original box is going to tear down. It's made of cardboard most of the time, and it's going to deteriorate after a while. So having a gun bag not only makes you look tactical or operator, but also it can hold a lot of stuff like your batteries, your mags, your BBs, etc., etc. Just get yourself a gun bag. It doesn't even have to be anything expensive. Echo One has super cheap ones for like $16. Just pick yourself one up and throw your gun in it, because you'll save so much hassle than trying to have to take your box and then a backpack and full other junk. Just get one shot out of the way.
Yeah, gun bags are definitely recommended. I feel like when you're buying an airsoft gun, you should just throw a gun bag in the cart with
They're
it.
So cheap. Condor makes super cheap ones
Yeah,
too.
Condor makes super cheap ones. Even like the NC Star ones. Like, I wouldn't recommend an NC Star load-bearing vest for any reason, but an NC Star gun bag, like if that's what you can afford, just at least get one of those.
Yeah, it'll save your life.
Yeah, and that just ties into our next point of don't ever brandish your airsoft gun in public. This is something that we shouldn't have to say, but we keep on seeing examples of it happen. We keep on seeing the news stories of a kid was carrying an airsoft gun in public or playing with an airsoft gun in public and got shot by the police, got the police called on them, any number of things. Just don't do it. And it seems dumb that we keep on having to say this. It should be common sense, but it ties into your point earlier of parents need to also assume responsibility. We have a video about a parent's guide to airsoft. I'll actually put that link in the description here because I feel like that's a good companion piece for this. So do not ever bring your airsoft gun out anywhere that is not either private property, completely out of view of any member of the public. So let's say you have a totally fenced in backyard, and also that your local laws don't prevent the discharge of BB guns, because that is actually a thing in a lot of places. So if your local laws allow it, and if you are totally enclosed, okay, you can do some backyard shooting. But that is going to totally depend on your situation. Generally speaking, don't bring your airsoft gun out of its gun bag anywhere that isn't inside your house where no one else can see, or at a field where everyone's expecting it, because everyone's got airsoft guns.
So you assume.
Yeah, well, so you assume. Another thing I want to mention is people using airsoft guns as part of costumes. I don't recommend that, generally speaking, at all. On Halloween even, just don't do it.
Halloween's coming up, don't do it.
Yeah, and that's actually what kind of spurred this video. Our friend Nathan, one of our newer members of the team, actually suggested this video because it's right around that season. Yep. Don't bring your airsoft guns out on Halloween. Elite Force is a really good infographic that they share every single year, and there's a reason for it, because it should be...
It needs to be mentioned every year, because kids do it time and time again.
Yeah, don't do it. If you want to use a gun as a prop for a costume or something, generally speaking, don't bring a gun out on Halloween in public.
Nerf gun works too.
Yeah, bring a Nerf gun or bring like a Super Soaker. Do something, do something hilarious and funny. Yeah. Or Yeah, just fill a super soaker with vodka and shoot your friends with it at a Halloween party.
Not recommended.
I think that's a good time, but that's if you're over 21 and if your friends are expecting it. So, a lot of vodka, though. Vodka gets expensive. And then another thing I want to mention is like anime conventions and expos and just cons and cosplay. There are a lot of cons that will not allow you to bring imitation firearms at all. There are also a lot of cons where if they do allow you to bring imitation firearms or weapons as part of your cosplay, they don't want you to have anything that could possibly ever be converted to fire. So they don't want you using airsoft guns. PAX East is a good example. I attended that last year, and well, actually this year, I guess, earlier this year. And in their rules for their cosplay, they do not want you bringing anything that was at any point an airsoft gun or a blank gun or a deactivated replica. I don't think they want you bringing Nerf guns because they just don't want anything that fires a projectile. It's insurance liability.
Makes sense.
So read the rules for wherever you're going. And if you are allowed to bring an airsoft gun, if that's a thing they allow you to do, totally deactivate it. Plug the barrel with like a plugged muzzle device or something that you like glue or Loctite on, and then remove the motor if it's an AEG. Just render it totally inoperable. Otherwise,
And leave the orange tip on.
Frankly,
If you don't have one on there, grab another one.
Yeah, frankly, wrap the damn thing in orange. You're at a convention. You don't need people thinking you're running around with an AR-15. And that's, again, where like a solid plastic blue gun would come into play, because that's a good spot. That's a good way to have, yes, you have your prop gun, but no, you don't have anything that's going to hopefully get anyone worried if it's just solid blue.
Also, as a responsible airsoft owner, don't point a gun at anybody you're not willing to destroy.
Yeah, and this
goes without saying, because even if you're at an airsoft field and you're in a staging area or you're in like RCA safe areas, don't point at anybody, because 9 times out of 10 they're not wearing face masks, and you're either in staging or you're just about to go to play. Don't point at anybody. I know it's funny, and I know you're really excited to go play. Just wait till you're on the field where masks are down and the game has started. That's the only time you should be shooting at anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, it's doubly important with airsoft because sometimes airsoft guns will shoot without you pulling the trigger.
Yep.
Sometimes airsoft guns are weird. You should be extra observant of the 4 rules of firearm safety.
Just going with that.
Yeah, exactly. The 4 rules of firearm safety absolutely should apply to how you treat your airsoft guns. And even additional rules on top of that, like barrel covers at fields that require them, and even fields that don't. It's probably a good idea to have a barrel cover because good example of this was in an article that no one reads our damn articles, but Kyle has a PKM. Kyle's PKM had a short. Kyle did not know his PKM had a short. He plugs his battery in, and it fires like 3 rounds before he unplugs the battery. All 3 of those rounds were caught in the barrel cover, and the gun was pointing away from everybody. But if he hadn't been observing those safety rules, and he just plugged his battery in thinking, oh, I'm not pulling the trigger, nothing's happening, into someone's face.
Yep.
You don't know what's going to happen. Airsoft guns are weird. This is, as the tactical wizard would say, this is like a master's degree in Chinese engineering. You have no idea what's going on in there 9 times out of 10.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So, like Eric said, always have a barrel cover. Even if your field doesn't require it, or what operation you're going to doesn't require, just always have one in your pocket or your cargo pants or whatever. Just have it somewhere and put it on your gun. And leave it on there until the game's ready to start, because that's what I do. Because I don't like taking the risk. Because again, like Eric said, airsoft guns are weird.
They are super weird.
This is kind of a little bit outside the box, but if you're going to go ahead and buy a gas blowback pistol, I see this all too often. You need to maintain it, whether it be CO2, green gas, or anything in between. It all needs to be maintained. You should take it out or the night before you go play with your gas blowback pistol or rifle. Maintain it, lube it up, oil it, whatever, and then when you get back home, it'll save you so much time and headache. You're gonna have to come see me and start crying because your pistol's not working.
I think that maintenance is absolutely part of responsible airsoft gun ownership, because if nothing else, it'll just save you a ton of headache. Just being responsible, just being responsible with your maintenance and LiPo batteries. Be responsible with your LiPo batteries. Be careful with them. Charge and discharge and storage, charge them properly. We actually did a video on LiPo batteries a while ago that I'm really not happy with looking back at it. Maybe we'll redo that.
We'll revisit it.
Yeah, we should revisit that subject. But absolutely store and discharge and charge them properly. Have a LiPo sack, or at the very least, charge it in a non-flammable area. We had someone almost burn down River City when their lipo burst on the Charger.
Talk about that. it was a lot of fire.
Yeah, it was a mess. That's absolutely something that you should take into consideration. Another thing with responsibility, and this is not of owning an airsoft gun in particular, but with playing airsoft, wear full seal eye protection.
Please.
I know there are events that don't require it. I was just at Milsim West, and Milsim West technically doesn't require like a full foam seal. They just want you to have something that like conforms to your face. I still have my Helo kit and my M-frames the whole weekend. Make fun of me if you want. I've seen too many horror stories of people having stuff just go in at the wrong angle. Very recently, there was a case in Texas where a guy was wearing M-frames without a Helo kit, caught at the wrong angle, and injured his eye. And I already gave my knees to this game. It's not taking my eyes. That's a little more tax than I'm willing to pay. So I'm just going to keep that Helo kit in. I'm going to wear a full seal eye protection for as long as I'm playing this game. And I recommend that you do at the very least as well. Yeah. Face protection, most people will recommend that.
Yes.
Teeth you can replace, eyes you can't. Teeth are expensive to replace, but you can replace them. Eyes you cannot replace. So if you're not going to take care of anything else on your body, take care of your eyes, please.
And the last thing I want to mention is this goes more along the HPA side. When your tank is up after its 5-year, get it hydro tested. That's very, very important because you don't know what could be wrong or what is wrong with your paintball tank. Get it hydro tested so somebody who's filling it doesn't accidentally explode. That's kind of, it's kind of dangerous because it's a high pressure tank. So you want to get that hydro tested. It's every 5 years on the point you bought the tank from, or if it's a used tank, I would get it hydro tested regardless. Even if they say they bought it a year ago, I would still go have it done because you just never know.
One last thing I do want to mention is, again, it's kind of less like just the ownership aspect, but like the playing aspect, being a responsible, reasonable airsoft player. Get your ego in check and get your anger in check. I have seen it. We've all seen the YouTube videos of people who take themselves way too seriously and get in fights or get in physical altercations or serious verbal altercations.
We all remember the Code Red incident.
Yeah, of just don't do it. If you can't handle playing airsoft without getting super angry at people to the point that you want to start fights, just leave. Go home.
Or sit out.
Yeah, sit out. And if you are on the field and you find yourself having one of those days where you're just getting super frustrated and you're not having a good time and you're feeling like you're going to start yelling at people, sit out, relax.
It's just a game.
Yeah, it's a game. As the oath of the reasonable wargamer from Milsim West goes, which I forgot about until I just heard it again at Caspian. It's so funny. I believe at the end it says, and if I get salty, I will remember that I am with my friends wearing a really cool costume and having a wonderful time. So
it goes without saying.
So just do that. It's great. Yeah. And look up the Oath of the Reasonable Wargamer. It's really funny and really applies. But other than that, I think that's pretty much everything I had to say. Yeah. All right. Well, that was this subject. Again, I hope a lot of this was common sense. I hope most of you watching this feel like, oh, that was really obvious and I just wasted a bunch of my time.
Still needs to be said.
Yeah, but it still needs to be said, unfortunately. So make sure to leave a comment if for some reason this was stuff that you hadn't heard before. And
I would like to know.
Yeah,
I'm interested.
And find whoever hadn't told you this stuff, who runs your local field, and slap them upside the head for not doing their job. Don't do that.
But please don't.
Yeah, don't actually do that. But link them this video and tell them that they really should be covering this stuff. Other than that, though, I think that's about it.
Yep.
So once again, I was E-House.
I'm Amy.
And we'll see you on the next episode of Speed Sim. Peace.
See ya.
Let me collect myself here a little bit.
You take your time.
I'm taking my sweet fucking time.
The camera's not going anywhere. I mean,
All right.
that one leg, though.
Yeah, we do that one fucked up leg on my tripod. I need to replace that shit. Okay.